Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can also leave a comment after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277128777. Thank you. Let's go and listen to what Sam George is out saying this time. This time around, he's on the judiciary, telling them to be careful. If anybody or everybody is afraid of them, he, Sam George, is not afraid of them because they are being paid with our taxes, which when they go wrong, they need to be corrected. He also cautioned the Chief Justice to be careful of her action as a Christian. Otherwise, when everybody is afraid to talk to her, he, Sam George, will do the needful. Without much ado, I'd like you to join me. Before we go, please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first person to receive any updates, any notification from PENDREAM TV. Even a pin drop, you will be the first because we are the best to bring you the latest information around the globe. Thank you.
Welcome back on the AM show, and we continue with the first segment, or the second segment, I should say, on the big stories. And we're going to be having a discussion with the Member of Parliament for Ningo PENDREAM in the person of Sam George. We're going to be talking about crucial issues to our national life. Now, let me just start off the conversation by saying that we got representation from the other side, of course, the New Patriotic Party. There have been some issues this morning, but we're still working on that so that we can have a conversation that has both sides duly represented. But for now in the studio, the Ningo PENDREAM legislator joins me. Sam, good morning.
Hope you're doing well.
I am. Lovely shirt.
Thank you.
Let's start with power issues. When I shared my blunt thoughts this morning, I was talking about, that as well. The president saying there is no doom saw, it's over, and all of that. And some were asking if it hadn't been, what was now finally over. I'm sure you heard him, Mayday and all of that. Did you have light overnight? Have you had light over the last few days, especially since Mr. President spoke to us?
Okay, a very good morning to our viewers and to the good people of Ningo PENDREAM. The part of Accra where I live, my light seldom goes off, except there's a national blackout.
Seldom?
Seldom.
Oh,
I mean,
good for you.
Yeah, it seldom goes off. Most parts of the city will be off, but we hardly go off. But the past month has been pretty erratic. We go off for about 12 hours every 3 days. In all honesty, we haven't had... The power went off briefly on the May Day.
Okay.
On May Day itself, we had an outage for about 6 hours. And since then, we've been back on. But but in my constituency where I'm the NP, I get reports. Even yesterday, the lights were off. It just speaks the two things that come out from what the president spoke about. First, he says it's over. Something can be over if it didn't start. There had been a complete denial that we had gone back into a power rationing situation called doomsaw. A refusal by the ministry to put out a timetable to help businesses. Now, when the president comes and gleefully says that, oh, it's over now, and that from the night before there had been no power outages in the country, first thing you point out is, oh, so now you admit that there was doomsaw. Now, the second part of that conversation is it over? Was the president factual? Was he truthful in his assertions? Absolutely not. Because even at the time the president was speaking, there were outages, and up till today, there are parts of Accra, parts of my constituency, parts of the country where there are outages. So it's just unfortunate that we've come to this place where we're still being told, it's at times I ask myself where the NPP and its spokespersons get their confidence from. Because even in this situation, they're telling us that, oh, John Mahama recklessly signed power purchase agreements and we have unnecessary excess power. How do you have excess power and you don't have enough power to power?
But in all honesty, we know we've not had excess power for about 2 years now.
Well, they've been saying, they are still saying.
Even some of them admit.
But it's still in their speaking points. Okay, that we've got excess power and there's too much power. John Mahama, what? But just because they've been told to run down John Mahama. But, you know, I have elders say that when the wind blows, you see the backside of the chicken. The wind is blowing now. Now, I don't know whether this is a wisdom problem or is a money problem. I'm borrowing the words of the Venerable Reverend Mensa Otabil. When there was power crisis under John Mahama, he said he's sure it was a wisdom problem, and it wasn't just a money problem. I'm pretty sure this is equally a wisdom problem. Okay?
But we do know that it's a money problem, though there's no admission that it's a money problem. It also is a money problem.
You know, money,
even if there is a wisdom problem.
Yeah, money problems could be a wisdom problem, because if you are not wise enough to spend your money well, you run into a financial difficulty where you can't buy the crude or the gas that is needed to fire the plants. And you see, this is simply because when they came in, they literally decided to truncate the processes that had been put in place under the Mahama administration, from the movement of our power plants to dual purpose, dual use, so that they could either fire light crude or heavy crude and gas at the same time, lean gas at the same time. You know, all of those plans that were put in place. I mean, they're more interested in renaming Ameri, you know, and renaming projects that Mahama did so that it looks like it's a new project and it is them. But look, let's call a spade a spade. We're in dire straits. And I think that the Minister for Energy, Matthew Poco Prempeh, must focus on the energy sector and work. I mean, that's what we pay him a salary for now, at least. Until any other announcement is made, he is earning a salary.
What announcement could you be thinking of?
Oh, the president has been doing reshuffles of late, so he could possibly do a reshuffle. If the president would take a cue from President Mahama reshuffled Kwabena Donkor out of the ministry when Kwabena Donkor gave us...
Kwabena Donkor had said that within a certain period, if he hadn't attained something.
President, but well, again, why should I... It's wishful thinking to think that President Akufo-Addo will be as efficient as President John Dramani Mahama. So I don't even expect that. But the bottom line is we pay Matthew Poco Prempeh a salary as our energy minister. We're in this crisis. The energy minister has not addressed the nation. No. He's not done a meet the press to give us an update or anything.
I think the last time he was supposed to be in Parliament, and
is Herbert Krapper who's taking to issuing statements and saying that, oh, this will happen soon. Look, what is the problem? What steps have been taken? It's not for the vice president on his campaign trail to say, oh, in a matter of days. He says it's in a matter of days. Then 3 days later, the president comes and says, oh, it's over. I mean, they're speaking from all sides of their mouths. And there is absolutely no consistency. And the power is still going up. And you know, 2 days ago on another radio station, it was heartbreaking listening to an Ice Kenke seller. And see, Benjamin, this is the reality of the Ghanaian people. You are a blessed man. And I consider myself equally very blessed. But majority of our country is not as blessed as we are. This woman was literally on radio in tears because 100 Ghana cedis worth of Ice Kenke that she had done, because she didn't have a power shedding timetable, had been destroyed, had been messed up.
It had gone bad.
Gone bad. And that was her capital. You know, and why I say you're blessed and I'm blessed is because you would go to some of the restaurants, me and you may go and sit in 100 Ghana cedis, can't pay for one meal. But that's the entire capital of someone's business. And she takes care of her children from that. And this is the insensitivity of government. And that's why we're not saying that, look, and let's get this right. I'm not saying that, oh, Dumso has come, so Nanado... I'm not going to play the politics of the NPP, because as part of the NDC government where there was Dumso, I'm just saying that let's be responsible as government. And that's one thing you can't take away from John Mahama. Apart from the fact that John Mahama fixed the problem he met, it wasn't his creation, he met it, but the point is, they gave us a timetable. When you were leaving home, you knew when your power was going to be on and when your power was going to be off under John Mahama. So you could plan your life. Today you can't. I've seen stories on Twitter and people speak. about how they're supposed to be working from home, they don't have power, they move from home, sit in traffic to a friend's place thinking there is power, they get there, there's no power. They are basically trotting from one spot to another because you don't know where there is power. We're just simply saying that, look, we understand you've messed up the situation. You were giving a situation, look, and let's call a spade a spade. Since 1998, and take this, and your production team can go and check it. Since 1998, this is the first government that was handed over power, political power, without a deficit in electricity generation power. Because, look, France 98, under Rawlings, we had Dumso in Ghana. There were power challenges during France 98. And so when President Kufuor took over in 2001, he had that challenge to deal with. He tried to do a few things with it, but don't forget, in 2006, 2007, he had to march pastors to Akosombo Dam to go and pray rain. Our pastors became rainmakers to fill up Akosombo Dam. He handed over a power crisis to Professor Mills and John Mahama. John Mahama took over that power crisis, and that's when he came and stood in Parliament in 2014 and said, I own and take responsibility for this crisis that has existed, and I will fix it.
Is that the deficit, as far as this administration is concerned, not owning what is happening? Just briefly on that, and then we move on.
No, but John Mahama handed over in 2017 without doom, so
even more so,
enough capacity.
Even more so, and you see, the president has said that he ended Doomso. But let's assume there were
Nanado.
Yes, I mean, in Parliament, he has told you that. I mean,
you know that at times our president, he tells little things.
But he has heard him say it.
That's a pension. Yeah, I've heard him say it. But I mean, the fact that the president said it doesn't mean it's true. We all know that our president,
but I'm saying,
from time to time, tells lies. So we've accepted that.
Well, I don't know, but I'm saying that if he ended it, and now he's saying that it never existed, and all of that, at some point there must be some admission, right? But there's no admission that. It takes. If you say that you handed over that to them, and now there is even no admission that there has been Doomso, then it doesn't corroborate what you're saying. There's been no admission.
It just speaks to the integrity deficiency in the president, and that the president's words cannot be taken for fact. Because this is a president who claims that there was no Doomso, that there has not been any power crisis, yet turns around on May Day and says, I have ended the power crisis. How do you end something that doesn't exist? And that's why I said, look, from time to time, we've all come to accept and know that the president and his vice, occasionally, I mean, from time to time, they tell lies. It's one of those things we've come to accept as.
Do you have proof of that? Do you have evidence of it?
The president promised MPs and Ghanaians that he was going to give us $1 million per each constituency every year. $7 million. This year should have made it $8 million. Do you know any constituency where the president has given them even $100,000?
Have you seen projects? Have you seen projects in your constituency?
KVIP toilet. Is that what they promised? How much is the KVIP toilet? So the KVIP toilet, the six.
Have you seen an improvement with education, roads?
Oh, please. Every government.
Do you have an Agenda 111 project in your?
Yes, there is one going on in my.
I do know there's one.
Yes, but that is outside of the $1 million that was.
No, I'm just saying. Have you seen development in your constituency?
Why did the president say that when he's doing $1 million per constituency, there will be no development in any other constituency?
But I'm saying something is happening, right?
No, but I'm not speaking. I'm speaking to specific promises the president made. His vice president said that in 18 months. He said in 2 years of their government, there will be no community in Ghana with a water or toilet problem. Right. Are you guys still not running campaigns on open defecation? Don't we still have communities without water in the heart of Accra?
All right.
Did the president, wait, I'll give you one more lie the president told. Did the president not tell us that if we voted for him, in 18 months, he will fix this economy and turn it around? Did he not promise us that? Has he done that? Is it not a lie? Did the president not tell us that God was going, and this was in 2016, when he was campaigning. And you see, at times, they have the same book of lies that they tell from. So they are repeating it. The president in 2016, during his campaign, said God has brought him to use him to fix the problems of Ghana. So the battle is the Lord. 2 days ago, Baumia says God has a use for him. They think we have short memories. No. They said we don't have. When John said we have short memories, they said it's not true. So yes, we don't have. We remember that the president told that lie. Nanado told that lie.
So like I said, I want to run through a number of other issues very quickly. Starting with a quick update on Saglemi. What's the latest you know? We've had talk about it and what the state of it is. Now, there are thoughts of selling it off or introducing private investment into it. In just about a minute, what can you update me on when it comes to Saglemi?
Well, we've had the new minister for Works and Housing, Kojo Nkrumah, say that he wants it disposed of by private sector engagements and all of that. Well, that's fine.
Francis Asenso-Boakye had already
had tried to do it.
Talking about
but look, Saglemi is a clear example of what partisanship, unnecessary partisanship, does to the taxpayers' purse. These buildings were literally completed in 2016. I went in there in October 2016 with President Mahama, then as candidate, me as parliamentary candidate, where we did a commissioning, where many of the buildings had been completed, the flats, not the townhouses, the flats had been completed. And all that was needed was the drainage and water to be connected. A government takes over and leaves it to rot. Look, today I've spoken to people, a very senior member of GRADA, who tells me that, look, this thing, even if they dash them as GRADA, they don't want.
As GRADA?
Yes, I'm not saying GRADA as an entity. I'm saying I spoke to a senior member who is a senior real estate developer who is a member of GRADA. And he said to me that, Sam, this thing, even if you dash me, I don't want. Because it's been dilapidated. I mean, and me and you, if you travel for 2 weeks and you close your house and there's nobody in your house, when you get back, do you see how stuffy the house is? Then imagine having locked these buildings up for 7 years. And what has happened in those apartments that were completed? And then agents of the state have also gone to loot the items that were left there. The tiles.
You don't know that for a fact. You've been on my show. Hold on.
That for
George,
a fact.
George, hold on. You've been on my show and said that, yes, you had this encounter. They called you in. Some people had in the bucket of a vehicle and all of that.
You know that.
So how?
I'm saying
by what?
The case
what
was,
evidence can you say that it is party people who went and stole the thing?
Oh, it's party people who were put there. They were put there as party people, national security. They claimed they were from national security. Party boys put there to protect the place. They stole the things. They stole the tiles, stole the doors,
So currently, what are you saying? That Saglemi is what? It's a lost cause?
It's a lost cause. This is just this Tuesday.
It's a lost cause. But I thought you said you wanted the NDC to come to power and that you would complete the project. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying, that the cost to the taxpayer, at the time we were handing over, we needed about $25 million to complete it. Now you need well in excess of $100 million to complete it. Look, Asenso was offered it to GRADA at $100 million. Today we are hearing that Kojo Nkrumah is offering it at about $40 million or $20 million to a foreign private investor.
So depreciation?
I mean, absolutely. And that's because of the amount of work that needs to be put in, work that we shouldn't be putting in, but simply because of the petty partisanship of Akufo-Addo and his government, we are here. But on Tuesday, I was with the Ningo Traditional Council, because Saglemi is under the Ningo Traditional Council. And they said they are waiting to hear from government. When they gave the land to government did not tell them that they were going to sell or give it to a private person. That's not the agreement they had with government. And so when ministers are issuing selling orders without consulting the custodians and owners of the land, well, let me use this opportunity to serve notice that I stand with my chiefs to say that any private investor who thinks that he's just going to come in there and come and take it because some government minister has said come and take it, the land is not government's land. The chiefs and people of Ningo gave the land to government because government said they were doing a affordable housing project, and the target at the time, Honorable E.T. Mensah cut short as Minister for Works and Housing, was for government workers. We're not going to sit back and have some private person just come in and then they create some shadow entity and come and buy it off the state at peanuts. No, that's not going to happen.
So if a future NDC government came, you would still try to work on it?
It's taxpayers' money. We can't leave it to rot. But some people must pay a price in court
that's
for this mess.
Okay. I mean, you politicians, you have a penchant for doing this. Oh, and heads will roll and all of that. But you come to power and
if the next Mahama, hopefully when the next Mahama,
nothing happens. So until something happens, I think you politicians should just lay low. And keep quiet and stop making promises that you likely will not fulfill.
I'm making a commitment to you and the Ghanaian people.
Right.
hopefully, and by the grace of God and by the will of the people of Ningo Pram Pram, I will still be their MP in the 9th Parliament from 2025 to 2028. And hopefully, and by the grace of God and the will of the Ghanaian people, John Dramani Mahama will be the president of Ghana. And I can assure you of one thing. As the member of parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, I will demand justice on the Saglemi project for the entire 4 years of the Mahama administration.
All right, let's
I will hold the government accountable to ensure that someone pays the price.
That's fine. That's fine. But let's look at another side of the coin. We're talking about Saglemi. How about Apiate? You must have heard about what has happened. Look at the buildings. They look beautiful. There's grass growing, tanks. I mean, it's still, there are aspects under construction, but that community has been restored. Miracles have happened in Apiate. And gradually, within the next few months, life will be restored there. Over 30 plus people killed. This is how far they have come. Aren't you impressed by this? Some have even said that this probably should be a model that should be used for many communities across Ghana. Your take?
Benjamin, Apiate is, again, a blot on us as a nation, and especially those in authority who had the responsibility to ensure that the laid down rules, it's not like we didn't have rules for the transportation of mining explosives. We did. Somebody slept on the job. I don't know who's paid the price for that. 30 lives were lost, as you rightly pointed out. It's heartwarming to see these new buildings. And I must give credit to corporate Ghana and the ministry that oversaw. And there was,
when you say ministry, lands and natural
resources. And there was this committee that was set up.
The Apiate Fund
Committee.
Reverend Dr. Joyce. A
lot of credit must be given to them. And a big thanks must go out to the private Ghanaian citizens and corporate bodies that contributed money to building this.
How about government?
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources.
Yeah, but I mean,
of government. And that's what I'm saying, that credit must be given to them for taking some proactive step. But as we give them credit, they must also bear responsibility for their failure.
To do what?
Which occasioned Apiate in the first place.
Right.
Apiate would not have happened if the ministry was on top of its job with its agencies and ensuring that the transportation was done right. But even as we celebrate
mistakes happen. And we flogged that horse.
And that's what I'm saying. And no, I'm saying that. Do you know who has paid? Who has been held responsible for that? Who has been held corporately or vicariously liable for that? For the loss of 30 lives? Are you aware of anybody who's paid in?
We have asked those questions in the past, but we do not know.
Absolutely, that's the point I'm making. We can't continue business as usual, and everybody knows that even if I sleep on my job, Ghanaians will forget about it. You want to?
But there were consequences for the mining companies. You do recall.
That's the mining company. You've punished the mining company. Are you not punishing the person who was supposed to supervise that mining company and failed to? Those are questions. Let me congratulate the reconstruction of Apiate. I come back to the point that it is sad that almost a year on, the people of Mepe and the people of the Volta region, the people of Pu along the Volta, and as far as Buipe, who were all affected. And again, I have put out, the flooding that happened was not an act of God. It was man-made negligence. And on your show, again, you see, Ben, the people in this country, when you say anything, especially this government, and it is not factual, they will come at you with all the forces. I came on your show. I don't remember if it was your show or another radio station. But I think it was another platform. I put out fact by fact how human error led to the flooding at Mepe. And Ben, I'm going to do it again. Look, let me tell you.
Briefly.
Yes. Let me state on authority that the flooding that happened was not an act of God. It's simply because the VRA, the engineers at the VRA, failed to do their job.
Which is what?
Okay. You have what you call the long-term average. That gives you an idea of how much water is coming into the dam. Now, this is the long-term average over a 10-year period. The long-term average is 1.5 million meter cube. As of July 2023, it was clear that the volumes we were getting were absurd. You know how much water had accumulated by July? 6.5 million. When the long-term average was 1.5 million. Immediately, they should have started spilling. This happened, a similar thing happened under Professor Mills, and they spilled over a graduated period of time that did not lead to the flooding. But they sat on it. Look, on the 14th of July, and I'm putting out dates because this is factual, and I'm challenging VRA to come out and deny what, because I did this about 3 months ago. They couldn't speak. I'm doing it again to let Ghanaians know that what happened in Mepe was because the VRA engineers failed to do their job. On the 14th of July 2023, the dam water level crossed the lower rule curve of 276 feet at a headwater elevation of 265.18 feet. A week later, on 22nd of July, the 277 rule curve was crossed at an.
So I think I get the thrust of what you're saying. If they had done the right thing,
the facts out for the people
over time,
the Akosombo
they wouldn't have got there.
Absolutely, this spillage was. And look, the engineers who did it under Professor Mills were there, but they said because of politics, they said they are NDC people, so they won't call them in. I'm telling you this for a fact. The people who did the previous spillage, the last time we had excess water beyond the long-term average.
But Sam George,
they refuse.
An engineer is an engineer. You don't need an engineer from a certain period.
You don't understand. You don't, Benjamin. I believe you understand. You are playing the ostrich. You know that in this country, under this government, anybody who worked under Mahama and Mills, they see you as NDC. And so they said those people, they are Mills's and Mahama's people, they are NDC. So they didn't bring them in. And that's why Akosombo happened. And up till today, have you seen one building built by government? But for the benevolence of corporate Ghana, my church, for example, the Perez Chapel International, I'm proud to be a member of that church, Archbishop Ajinasari, paid for the building of a whole dormitory that houses 100 people through the City FM relief. And so today, 100 people have accommodation paid for by Perez Chapel. Other institutions did the same thing. We went there with relief material. When we were going in there and doing all of that, did the government step in? Has the VRA taken any concrete steps to start rehousing the people whose houses were missing?
What would you like to see there? Let's go.
I would have expected to see the VRA, and I told the VRA chief executive this in Parliament. I met him in the corridors of Parliament and said to him, look at what corporate entities are doing. You people raised money, multimedia, you also helped. You intervened. Other media houses did it. And I said, people are giving money to media houses because you, as VRA, government agency, have failed to take any step.
But the GRA said it contributed, was it $20 million or something of the sort, or was it CDs?
Contributed the money.
You did hear of that, right?
We had paper money. We haven't seen the value of the money. Where's the money? The money they claim they contributed. They should show us what they used it to do.
All right. Let's
people
quickly...
whose houses were flooded, who are still... Well, it's almost a year on, oh. It's almost a year on. Those people are still homeless. Still living in tents. So as we celebrate the construction of Apiati, we remember the Akosombo and Mepe people. The people of Mepe. And,
all right.
And I went there. Look, this is what I went there less than a week after the flooding. The stench.
And I understand. Cemeteries,
people's livelihoods have been
public
destroyed.
toilets and everything, and no one would want to see this. Recently, we had some conversations right here in the studio on the back of that.
But you understand why? You would understand why this is happening, right? Because the president said they don't vote for him.
I don't think.
It is why it is happening. I'm not saying it. He said they don't vote for him.
Let me also bring in a crucial matter. You've spoken about it in the past. You may have seen, and I'm going to bring in the Minister Designate for Information, Honorable Fatimatu Abubakar. She's been a Deputy Minister there. The World Press Freedom Index, at least World Press Freedom Day, Ghana has moved from the 62nd position to the 50th out of 180 countries on that index. Let me welcome aboard Fatimatu Abubakar, the Minister Designate for Information. Good morning.
Morning to you and to my brother Sam George and to your cherished listeners as well.
Right. Let me just start here on an interesting note, though. You've still not been vetted and all of that. How do you feel about that, especially with the minority saying you are not substantive and you shouldn't be seen acting in that capacity? How are you dealing with that situation?
Okay. First of all, let me say good morning to you once again. But let me be quick to correct the point. We have actually gone through the vetting process. But what happened is that, the committee has to send its reports to the
So I actually meant, thanks for that, but I actually meant approval. You've not been given the nod to, be substantive ministers.
So as a matter of fact, I am not approved as Minister for Information, and I do not carry myself around as such. What rather is the case is the fact that, the President is empowered to appoint its representatives to take care of those ministries until such a time that a minister is appointed.
Right.
And I have been formally giving a letter as a representative of the President and the Ministry of Information. So if
So now the capacity, in what capacity are you're acting?
No. The President is able to appoint his representatives to the various ministries.
Right.
And I think that there is no contention with that. So I am only there as the President's representative, but I have never carried myself as the substantive minister. In any case, I say I'm the Minister for Information Designate. But I have not been confirmed by Parliament as the Minister for Information.
Right. So do you agree then with the minority that no one should hold himself or herself up as minister until those processes are completed?
Of course. And I haven't held myself as minister. I have only acted as representative of the President at the ministry.
You have been one dignified person all the way from deputy minister to minister. Let's see what the future holds. But something to celebrate, right? 62nd to 50th position, World Press Freedom Index. The ministry has been, flagellated over time. Oh, we are dropping and this. At least there's something to celebrate here, isn't there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me use this opportunity to thank the media fraternity. We have a lot of associations in the media space, including the Ghana Journalists Association, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, the private newspaper printers, among others, and also the CSUs. We have the Media Foundation for West Africa. We have a lot of fact-checking institutions. CDD has been working closely within the media space as well. And then, of course, to our Parliamentary Select Committee on Communications. Honorable Sam George is the deputy ranking member, and the committee has also been very instrumental in the efforts that the ministry has tried to put forth so that we are able to improve our position on the Press Freedom ranking. Over the period, we've struggled because in 2019, the indicators that were used were changed. And when they introduced the new indicators, you realize that our performance with some of the new indicators were not so good. Over the period, what we have done as a ministry, when I was a deputy minister, under the leadership of Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, is to engage all our key stakeholders to see how best we can improve our performance when it comes to specific indicators. Because in the long run, you realize that it is those isolated activities or performance improvements that will collectively come together and give us a good showing on the Press Freedom ranking. We are working over the period, especially with legislation. We are working on the RTI-LI, also working on the broadcasting bill, so that in terms of regulation, in terms of access to information, among others, we are able to achieve the most out of the situation. Also, when it comes to the economic conditions of journalists in the country, that has been our most, I think that has been actually true. You realize that Ghana has a very beautiful and vibrant media landscape. If you look at the trajectory that we've been on since the coming into force of the 1992 Constitution, which removes the censorship issue, which addresses media pluralism so that there is no monopoly as to state alone doing broadcasting, among others.
Right.
Ghana has recorded a sharp increase in the number of media houses that are established in the country. And even for the state-owned media, they've moved quickly from state broadcasting to public service broadcasting. So I believe all those efforts over the period have not gone unnoticed.
So you think all of these have come together to account for this giant leap, this change in our fortunes? You think so?
Absolutely. But what we've also been doing over the period to improve our fortunes has to do with the president, through Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, lobbying to have Ghana become the headquarters of the International Fund for Public Interest Media. You know, the fund doesn't want media to be extinct. So when it comes to media sustainability, welfare issues, and how they can help a lot of media houses become sustainable in terms of funding, in terms of capacity, we believe that if we have the headquarters here and there is proximity between the regional office and also the key media owners in the country, we'll be able to get the maximum benefit out of the fund. And that is what over the period we are doing as a government to make sure we facilitate the office arrangement and the full operationalization of the fund in Ghana so that the media houses can also benefit from it.
Okay, so these two bits for you, and then I think I can let go of you. I know you're pretty busy. What can we expect on the back of this? What measures are we going to put in place to ensure that we can improve even further on the Press Freedom Index? And a thought that just came to mind. The previous bit I asked you about being a minister designate. Does it impede your work in any way? Are you really looking forward to becoming the substantive minister? In other words, are you impeded in any way because you've not been approved and maybe some things you can't do? A quick thoughts on that, and then I'll let go of you.
Okay, so of course, if you are a minister designate, you are just in waiting, hoping to be approved. You are not entitled. It is not a guarantee. So until such a time, if there are some actions, some documents you are supposed to sign, a lot of things you are supposed to do at the place, it becomes an impediment. Because
so it's affecting your work, basically.
Of course it does. But you also asked about the specific activities or efforts that we are putting in place to ensure that we don't drop. And most significantly, what we are trying to do this year has to do with legislation, how we are putting things together to go before the parliamentary committee and subsequently pray that we'll be able to lay the broadcasting bill this year. I think it's a bill that does not have a lot of contention. If it comes on board, it will help a lot in terms of regulation and filling the kind of loopholes that we have within the media space. I think it will go a long way to also improve our fortune. And as I mentioned, we are looking at how we can make the media sustainable in the country. Is it sustainable to have 550 media houses for a country with a population of 32 million? We continue to engage and participate in all the dialogues that seek to bring some solution and some critical matters to bear so that the stakeholders will take the issue seriously and see how best we can work together to improve the fortunes of media practitioners.
Right. We're so grateful that you took the time to join us for this conversation. You know, I've given you an open invitation that whenever these issues come up, try and pass through the studio.
Yes, this morning we are in Koforidua for the World Press Freedom Day.
Right.
So I want to use this opportunity to wish all journalists well as we mark this commemorative day, and to pray that hopefully by next year our fortunes will even get better. And we'll become number one in Africa and up there with the rest of the world, especially among countries that observe the best media freedom practices.
Thank you so much, and we wish you well as you continue on this journey. That is Fatimatu Abubakar, Honorable Minister Designate for Information. She's been the Deputy Minister, and now she's the Minister Designate for Information. Sam George, you should be happy.
Well, let me say good morning to the Honorable Fatima. I mean, like you rightly pointed out, she's one who seems to
I actually like
some
her
good
style.
job.
I like how she
does. Yeah, I mean,
does
we've
her.
engaged her at the committee level. I think that she's a very bright young lady, and you must commend her for what she's doing. However, this morning she's had to deal with a very vexed issue, and on the surface of it, it looks like good news. We've jumped up from 62 to 50. And Fatima tries to explain that it's because of the change in the matrices that were used in 2019.
She says it's part of it. She goes on to elaborate on other things they've been doing, trying to streamline the system, even working on media houses to ensure that certain things are done. You know that the situation with journalists and earnings and all of that is a crucial issue in Ghana. She talks about all of that.
Absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. That, and it is those things she says are the matrices that changed in 2019. I'm just going to quickly do a recap 10 years down the line, okay, from 2012, for all of us to appreciate why I'm saying that even though this may look like a 12-point jump, it's not worth celebrating yet.
But it is still a 12-point jump.
Yeah, but it's not worth celebrating.
I mean, I know the problem, but it is a 12-point jump.
In 2012, we were ranked 41st in the whole world, and we're ranked 7th in Africa. That's the last year of Professor Mills. Then when Mahama took over in 2013, and let me be honest, the ranking you get for a year is representative of the year before.
Exactly.
So in 2013, it's basically the ranking of the last year of Professor Mills. We moved from 41 to 30th in the world. 30th. And we're ranked 3rd in Africa. Then in 2014, where you began to see Mahama's own efforts in space, we were ranked 27th in the world, 3rd in Africa again. In 2015, we moved up to 22nd in the world and 2nd in Africa. In 2016, we're 26th in the world, 2nd in Africa. Then 2017, we maintained 26th in the world, 2nd in Africa. Then the first real ranking of the Akufo-Addo administration.
Because you will say that 2017 was based on
Mahama.
2016.
The first real ranking of the Akufo-Addo administration came in 2018. We moved up to 23rd in the world, and we're ranked 1st in Africa. Then 2019, we dropped to 27th in the world and
so maybe
to Africa.
Just make it brief.
And then, no, I'm wrapping up.
Just
then 2020, 30th in the world, 2nd in Africa. 2021, 30th in the world, 3rd in Africa. 2022, we dropped from 30th in the world to 60th in the world and dropped to 10th in Africa. In 2023, we were 62nd in the world and 9th in Africa. Now, this is the reason why when the matrices were changed, these are the reasons that were used. This introduced 10 different categories: killing of journalists, kidnapping, unwarranted sentencing, physical attacks, arrests and detentions, threats, media shutdown, suspension, bans, and seizure or destruction of journalist equipment. And now, if you want, I can then give you the years.
We can't.
No, I can give you all of these instances, these 10 matrices. How in 2021, 2022, 2023,
we fared.
We fared. I mean, you remember the Caleb Kuda incident. You remember the Modern Ghana guys. You remember the break-ins at
I remember so many of them. I remember
those
XYZ.
are the
UTV,
things that have led us to where we are. It's not about remuneration per se.
So I get I'm saying that it's a conglomerate of issues. But Sam John, let me make this point. The point is, we may have plummeted.
The point I'm trying to make is that
plummeted from
even
30th.
this best performance, it's not half as good as the worst performance of Mahama.
But the 50th that we are at is not the best performance of the MPP. It is not.
Absolutely.
You just mentioned the 23rd placement and 1st in Africa. But the point I'm trying to make,
today.
Sam George, let me do this. The point I'm trying to make.
That's what I'm saying. We can't celebrate
is that if we plummeted from 30th to 62nd, a difference of 32 points, and we've clawed back from 62nd, we didn't go further down. We've clawed back from 62nd to 50th. We've gained 12 out of the 32 points we lost. So we have a 20% deficit. Is it not something to celebrate?
No. You see, and that's the deception of the MPP. And that's what they're doing to us, not just with press media freedom, but in everything. We hand over a country to you. We are at a certain pedestal. Then you destroy it and send it so down. Then you claw a little back, then you say, hey, muntu nyum frame. We should praise you. It's the same way we gave them dollar at 4 cedis. Today, dollar is 15. They say, hey, it's not that bad. Our depreciation is better than yours. They say their doomsday is better than Mahama's own. It's the same way. A gallon of fuel under Mahama was 14 cedis. Today, a liter under them is more than 14 cedis. So, Benjamin, we would celebrate them if they take us beyond where we handed over to them. We handed over a country that was 27th in the world and second in Africa to them. We cannot be celebrating when they have recouped from 62 to 50, which is still below where we were when we handed over to them. Look, do you know what the report says? And when you read the Media Foundation for West Africa report, it's damning. A country like Burkina Faso that has a military ruler, that has expelled international journalists, that has banned the retransmission of foreign news. In Ghana, we still have BBC, RT, Radio France International. We've got VOA all transmitting. Some of you retransmit DW. Burkina Faso has banned all of that, yet Burkina Faso is ahead of Ghana. Niger is a military junta. Niger has suspended their parliament. There is no parliament in Niger. Niger is ahead of Ghana.
So finally, there's nothing to celebrate. That's what you're saying.
How can we celebrate mediocrity?
All right, let's make tracks.
They should take us back to our days of 27 and of being number 1 and number 2. Then we will celebrate.
Let's run through a few more issues and then we shall draw the curtains on this. Now, we know that the majority has requested that the Speaker of Parliament cause Parliament to be reconvened or to address some urgent government business, and the Speaker has 7 days to recall the House. I bring that in respect of the different dynamics of the legislature, the executive, the back and forth, and the LGBTQ bill. Is that bill in limbo now?
Well,
and you know, in recent times, let me just add, the European Commission, one of those, I've just forgotten his name, saying that, it will not be approved. It will not be given assent to by the president. That means your work is basically going down the drain.
Oh, no, it won't go down the drain. And I'm confident about that even if Akufo-Addo chooses not to sign, the next president of Ghana will be forced to sign. And
will be forced to sign?
Yes, and even Akufo-Addo will be forced to sign. Look.
Akufo-Addo will be forced to sign a bill that he has refused to sign. He's not giving you any reason. It's ended up in court. You're saying he'll be forced to sign it.
The Constitution you will be handed a tyrant and a despotic president like Akufo-Addo.
Why do you call him that?
Who has absolutely no regard for the will of the people. The will of the people in this country, in our whole democratic dispensation, is expressed by Parliament. Because Parliament is the only true representation of the will of the people. 275 people elected by the 33 million to represent them in Parliament. There is a unanimous vote of Parliament that says that this is what we want. You know, recently the High Court gave a judgment that said even though Roxanne Dafia-Mekpo's application of mandamus met all the thresholds, and I've just read the ruling, very interesting, because of the Supreme Court case. Look, let me use this opportunity to talk to the Chief Justice. And people think that we cannot criticize the judiciary. Who says we can't criticize the judiciary? The judiciary is paid with our taxes. If you can criticize the president and criticize the speaker, why can't you criticize the Chief Justice? The judiciary is not law unto themselves. And let me speak to the Chief Justice. Madam, you are a Christian. Oh. You go to ICGC and you preach in Tema. Reverend Kujo's church, you preach there. And I'm expecting that you will walk your Christian faith. If everybody is afraid to talk to you, I will talk to you as a Christian. Because listen, the president had a meeting last week Monday. He had a meeting last week Monday in the Flagstaff House with Nana Asante Bedi-Otuo, the Deputy Attorney General, and some members of the coalition that worked with me. And at that meeting, the Deputy Attorney General had the effrontery to tell the coalition that the Richard Sky case...
Alfred Tiayeboa?
No, the woman, the lady.
Okay.
Isn't it Abina Dapa also?
Right.
She had the boldness to tell the coalition that the Richard Sky case and the Amanda Odoi cases would not be called by the Chief Justice till next year. Now, this should be a cause of worry for all Ghanaians and anybody who watches our democracy. That a Deputy Attorney General is confident and bold enough to tell members of the clergy that she knows when the Chief Justice will be scheduling cases before the Chief Justice. Why? Is the Chief Justice working for the Flagstaff House and the Attorney General? And I'm expecting the Chief Justice and the judiciary to respond to this. I am stating on authority that on Monday, last week Monday, not this past Monday, the upper Monday, I think the last Monday was 23rd or so, that meeting held in the Flagstaff House, in the Jubilee House, late in the evening, on Monday 29th or 23rd, Monday 22nd of April.
Okay.
How the Deputy Attorney General is now telling us that she knows when the Chief Justice will be calling cases. That's why the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice sits there and gives credence to this by allowing
But how is she giving credence to that? This person told you this. People of religious faith.
You need to.
There is a ruling yet to be given by the court, the apex court, and you say she's giving credence to it.
Richard Sky filed his case before Roxanne Dafia-Mekpo filed his case. The Chief Justice jumps all of those ones and calls Dafia-Mekpo's case and dismisses it, and yet has not called Richard Sky's case. Why would I not believe that the Deputy Attorney General is determining for the Chief Justice get to talk on what to do?
The fact that you,
and that's why I'm saying that our judiciary
it is your opinion, Sam George, let's do this.
We need to call our judiciary out. Benjamin,
Sam George, are you going to have a monologue or a dialogue?
Oh, no, please, we're not.
Hold.
We should go out with a vox.
So let me make this point.
Nobody trusts our judiciary today.
Let me make this
their
point.
Their reputation is in tatters.
If you don't,
because of this kind of things.
Then when you have electoral issues, why do you end up at the judiciary?
Oh, that's why we
you must have some trust in them.
No, but that's why we're all saying.
But the point I'm making is,
everybody knows that they will give a 7-0 verdict.
The fact that
people
you have
predict our Supreme Court and they fall into it, Tom.
The fact that you have an opinion doesn't mean the Chief Justice or the judiciary can't have its own.
They should purge themselves of this impression. Opinion.
So that is Sam George's opinion.
Right. Yes.
But I just got this information thanks to our data and research team, because they also just prompted me about this. Actually, when you also look at the World Press Freedom Index, right? And thank you, Anthony Menu. I have to give you your props. If you look at the contributors and indices, right? Political, actually, in 2024, our scores, apart from one, all the other areas we have diminished. So political in 2023, the score was 61.88, so from 2022. In 2024, our score is 59.5. On the economic front, 47.94 in 2023, 47.92 marginal in 2024. Legislative, 79.62, it's now 74.41 in the latest one. Social, 79.98, it's now 73.41. It's only on security that we've made gains, 61.25 in 2023 and now 82.94 in 2024. So that's actually the only one where we've made an increment.
Because he learns everything I said.
I just brought that in.
It's a fact.
Relax. Let's quickly look at this as well. So, are you optimistic that just to wrap with LGBT?
Yes, and I'm saying that whether the Chief Justice and the judiciary choose to be in the pocket of the executive or not, the Constitution.
You don't have any.
I have not said they are. I said if they choose to. See, I use my words very carefully.
But
if they choose to,
but you have,
so they can
suggested.
choose not to.
It's suggested.
They can choose not to. They can choose to. It's their business. But as members of Parliament, we also have a constitutional mandate where I can table that bill and pull for a 2/3 vote in Parliament. And that's what I'm saying.
You think you'll get the 2/3 vote?
Oh, wait, we'll get there. We had a unanimous vote the last time, didn't we? You would see where we'll go again.
It was unanimous because people were not allowed to vote in secret.
No,
and who would have dared? When the speaker asked? When the speaker asked anybody stand up to go against it, did you see? It was because of certain reasons.
No, Benjamin, and that's what I'm saying. The 2/3 vote is not a secret vote. The standing orders of Parliament are clear. You only have a secret vote on 3 occasions: when you are electing a speaker, when you are approving a minister, or when you are removing a minister or the president from office. Those are the only times our votes are secret. Every other vote in Parliament is an open vote.
But there are other ballots where, there have been debates on whether it should be secret or not.
It won't change because our standing orders are our standing orders. The standing orders are clear. So check, every time we've had a secret ballot in Parliament, it's either for the election of the Speaker or the approval of ministers or the removal when we did the censure of Ken Ofori-Atta. That's it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying, that whether the executive and the judiciary choose to go into an illicit love affair, Parliament would carry on the will of the people of Ghana.
All right. So you're expecting
but they must purge themselves. They must purge themselves. The Chief Justice must show us that what the Deputy Attorney General claimed in that meeting at the Flagstaff House is not true by calling the Richard Sky case. Why is she holding on that case? Right. What is holding her back?
Let's talk a bit about election 2024.
Walk her face.
Election 2024. We have limited time. If you want to help us address them, then I suggest that you make your submissions bite-sized. Election 2024 is coming. Some people feel that the EC must be above the board, and in fact, all of us do. But there's that issue with the BVDs and BVRs, and some being let out that your end, the minority has had to complain, lament about when it comes to IPAC. Tied to that are the happenings of Ejiso. You did not contest there, but we saw that incident with Professor Kingsley Nyako in Semenfua. What is the correlation as far as the EC and the political dynamics are concerned? Your thoughts?
The Electoral Commission has a responsibility to purge itself of the perception of bias by its actions, not by its press releases. The Electoral Commission has given multiple explanations, each contradicting itself on this issue of BVDs. And the Electoral Commission has not been able to respond to the critical issues raised by Imani Ghana, not even the minority, Imani Ghana, on the disposal of those so-called BVDs and the processes by which they were done. I mean, those BVDs are not old newspapers that you are selling to Kofi Brookman sellers, vendors. No.
In the past, do you know how they've been disposed of? Quick question. In the past, do you know how they've been disposed of?
Well, not in this manner.
Do you know?
As far as I'm aware, I'm not aware that any BVDs had been disposed. Because don't forget that the first time we did biometric was 2012. And it is those machines that are being disposed of. So this is the first time it's happening. Because they say it's the 2012 BVDs that are being disposed. And that was the first time we actually did the biometric verification the way we've done it. So it's not like there's been an antecedent. This is it. You know? And the Electoral Commission and its posturing and its behavior, like Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman said in her speech at her outdooring, where she said to the EC, it is in their own interest to act in the interest of democracy because we will not countenance any acts of bias by the Electoral Commission. And you see, again, if Ghana was a functional country, my colleague, Honorable Kingsley Nyako, by now should have been invited and arrested by the Office of Special Prosecutor.
Who?
Kingsley Nyako.
Your colleague,
yes.
The Kwadaso legislator.
Yes.
He should have been what? Arrested by the police?
By the Office of Special Prosecutor. Because the law gives the OSP the power to do this. And you've seen the OSP invite parliamentary candidates who gave money to delegates who have come out to say they gave X amount to come and prove how. How is it? And again, kudos to Joy, because it was your cameras that captured it. Your reporter was giving the story, and we saw it happen on your...
I say it was fortuitous. It was by chance.
No, but I'm saying kudos to you.
But we got it. Yes, we got it all the same.
Kudos to you. If it wasn't for your reporter doing his job and filing his report, we wouldn't have seen it. If you had chosen...
And the cameraman also.
Yeah, the cameraman and all. So, I mean, because there we saw it on tape. And now he says he was handing over water to them. What? Does he work for Ghana Water?
I don't know about handing over water.
He said what he gave to them was for water.
He said, I mean, we had an interaction with him. He said it was for lunch.
What, now he's a caterer?
So that's it.
Is Kingsley Nyako a caterer? Is he the one sharing food?
He says he gave it. He says it. I mean, people have spoken to us, and it's a cultural thing. You all do it, don't you?
Is he the one?
You politicians, you all do it from the NDC side. Sometimes you even give food to the other side, don't you?
Benjamin, this is a behavior in the media that at times worries and affects the national discourse.
I am just saying what you
when we have a person caught on tape doing something that we all agree is wrong. Let us not say, NDC, QFZ, they all do it. No. I give food. I don't give envelope. When I come there, I feed my agents. And we provide food for everybody. Police, MPP, everybody who is at the polling station. My team provides food, not envelope, food. We give them food.
You were saying the money was for the food.
You believe that lie?
Okay, so let's Sam George, let's do the thing, though.
Benjamin, are you looking before God, your creator, and telling me that you believe that's childish lie?
I don't think it's about what I believe. It's about what he said.
It's about what the facts are.
Okay, so just leave us with this. We can't go into Cicely Adapa because but are you disappointed about the AG's directive to Yoko and the NCA and the internet cable cuts issue? This could happen again. In terms of the infrastructure, what are you expecting to see on that? Are you disappointed no real moves have been made on that front? We have a minute.
The infrastructure for telecoms are huge. And again, like I keep saying, what we need to do as government is lobby more cables to land in Ghana. I mean, what happened the last time?
So are you going to lobby?
Trust me, is a once in a lifetime kind of thing. But we must learn and build redundancies. We must have more cables landing. It's not me to lobby, it's the Minister for Communication who is supposed to lobby, and the NCA and government to bring in those cables. Because I won't sit here and ask government to build those cables. Those cables cost about $14 billion
All right.
to do, so we can't do that. On the Cicely Adapa case, it is most...
But do you have any updates on the repair work? The repair work, do you have an update?
The last update I heard from the Chamber of Telecoms is that by end of May, in fact, ACE has been completed, SAT3 is fully back up, and ACE is one of the key ones because ACE is what provides capacity to MTN, their major capacity support service, SAT3 to Telecel. So basically, main one is under repairs and should be completed before end of May. So I think by end of May, we should have full capacity.
Thank you for that information. Are you disappointed in the AG?
I mean, it's shameful, but I'm glad I saw the statement put out by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that the next government
you revive the
will investigate the allegations of graft, money laundering against Cicely Adapa.
Thank you, Sam.
And not just her, all of them. All of them.
Sam Jatta George, thank you very much for joining us this morning. He is the legislator for Ningo Prampram, joining us to talk about myriad issues. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the AM show.
Ali, if you
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you have not yet do that, please do it for us. Hit the notification bell. Like and also share to other members. Let the channel go viral. We need your support in that. Thank you. God bless you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.